Alrighty, hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Cryptic Coil, and in today's video, I am going to do another book haul. I've been wanting to take it easy on these, but the one that I have today is, pretty dope. So, I'm, I, I definitely have an audience that's gonna appreciate this specific haul. I'm mostly going to be showing you books, but I do have one movie that I'd like to show you. I picked it up from a thrift store, and it's called Severed Ways, The Norse Discovery of America. And it has a throbbing black metal soundtrack, apparently, which is actually the reason why I bought it. I love Vikings, and, because I'm metal. And then, it's got a black metal soundtrack, apparently. Notice how I said apparently. Let me go ahead and read you the the summary on the back. In the 11th century, Vikings, Native Americans, and Irish monks collide on the shores of North America in a historical epic adventure of exploration, personal glory, and religious dominance. Abandoned by a Western exploration party and stranded in the New World, two lone Vikings struggle for survival while still in the grip of their Norse ways. Featuring an icy black metal soundtrack including Burzum, Morbid Angel, Judas Priest, and Dimmu Borgir. Okay, so real quick, I've never heard Burzum's music, and I didn't really grow up on Mayhem either, but I'm not exactly cool with Vard. And it's one of those things, if you know, you know. Morbid Angel is not black metal, neither is Judas Priest. There are Dimmu Borgir identify as black metal, they get classified as black metal, but a lot of people who are like diehard black metal fans will tell you that they're not true black metal. I love Dimmu Borgir. I'm fortunate enough to say that I've seen them live. Judas Priest is arguably my second favorite band ever, and I'm lucky to have met them and seen them live. Morbid Angel, I respect them, but if I want to listen to music like that, I'll either listen to Death or Cannibal Corpse. But I respect the people who made this movie for putting these guys on the soundtrack. I really do. All right. So let's go ahead and get into the book haul now. So I have a couple of R.L. Stine books that I picked up, and I'm super excited about these. Okay, so I'll just show you this one first. Okay, I found yet another copy of Welcome to Dead House, and it's in pretty good condition. A little bit of paint missing from the corner down here, but strong, healthy spine. The book is in almost the exact same condition that it was the day that it was printed. The cover and the pages offer resistance when you try to open it. It's just that little teeny tiny bit of paint that's missing from the corner is the only flaw. So I'll either keep that as my collector's copy or keep it as my backup copy for reading. Then I found this one, which I was excited about. It's the second time that I've found a Ghosts of Fear Street book that I don't already have out in the wild. This is book number 17, and it's called House of a Thousand Screams. And that's what the cover looks like. So, it's yellow, and, it's got this like a monster, this hairy monster with red eyes, sharp teeth, and sharp claws. There's an ace of spades on the cover. There's a tuxedo with ruffles on the lapel and a black bow tie, a top hat. This is an interesting looking cover. I kind of like it. All right, let's go ahead and read the synopsis on back. Uncle Solly is gone, but his magic is everywhere. Jill's favorite uncle, Solly, was a world-famous magician. Months ago, he left his huge house to Jill's family. Even though Jill's never been to Uncle Solly's house, she can't wait to move in. But Uncle Solly lived on Fear Street, and when he died, he left something behind. Part of his magic act, a house full of nasty critters that don't like having company. They plan to give Jill an unwelcome home party she'll never forget. Uh, that sounds pretty good, actually. And this book was published in 1997. Interesting. Interesting, because I thought, like, what if he wrote this later than that? What if he wrote this, like, in the 2000s after Rob Zombie made House of a Thousand Corpses? Looks like R.L. Stine beat Rob Zombie to the punch with that title, so very cool. All right. And then I got one more R.L. Stine for you. I got this. It's a Nightmare Room book, and it's number 4 in the series, and it's called Liar Liar. Dope. All right. And it's an ex-library copy. It's hardback. Not exactly. Some of the pages aren't in the best condition, but the spine is holding on real good. This is it was published in the year 2000. It belonged to an elementary school previously. Let's just go ahead and read the summary on the back. That tall boy walking so confidently into the party is Ross Arthur. This isn't a surprise party, but Ross has a frightening shock in store. You see, at the party is Ross's identical twin. The problem? Ross doesn't have a twin. It looks as if tonight this party is being held in the Nightmare Room. That sounds interesting. That sounds like a good read. I like it. And if you look at the cover, I mean, you can kind of see that the cover does fit that description to some extent. All right, I'm excited about this one. I found a vintage Apple paperback from an author I've never heard of named Margaret Wilde, and the title of the book is Beast. And look at that cover. You have a little boy, and the little boy is cowering in the corner of the room with an eerie looking shadow on the wall. And I mean, that's a scary looking cover. I like it. There is a tagline on the front, and it reads, "It's closer than you think." And the synopsis on the back reads, "Some things are too terrifying to be real. Some aren't. The beast comes at night. It lurks, waits, tries to get in the house. It wants Jamie. There are ways to control the monster, tapping the doorknob 4 times, rubbing the bedpost, never stepping on a crack. Jamie does them all, but they don't always work. In fact, the house is starting to fall apart and the backyard is full of weeds just because the beast has been there. The worst part is that nobody else can see what Jamie sees. He's the only one who can see the beast. And now Jamie must find a way to destroy the beast before it destroys him." Okay, that sounds pretty dope. I like it. And this is from 1992. Wow, this is in excellent condition. I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of wear on the spine, but the pages offer resistance when I flip through the book. The cover's not bad at all. The sides have kind of browned with age, but when I open it, the pages are still mostly white. So this is an excellent condition for a children's paperback from 1992. I'd almost want to call it near mint. All right. Now, I have a couple of young adult books, and I'll go ahead. And not all of them are horror, but I think that, 2 of them are, and then 2 of them might be a bit horror adjacent. So let's go ahead and check these out. Okay, this one is super exciting for me. It's a point horror book. I've been on the hunt for this for a very long time. I found out about it through Cameron Chaney's channel, and I finally have it, and it's in excellent condition. And it's The Haunting of Frances Rain by Margaret Buffy. I've wanted this book for a long time, and now I have it. Very excited about it. The tagline on the front reads, "She can't believe her eyes." And if you look at the cover, you see this young lady, and she's lowering her eyeglasses, and there's the reflection of a little girl in one lens and an older woman in the other lens. And you just look at the expression on her face, and you just don't know how to read what's going on there. So let's go ahead and read the summary on the back. The past can haunt you for real. Every time Lizzie puts on the old pair of glasses she's found, she sees things from the past. A cabin, the woman who lives there, a young girl. Who are these people? Why do they keep pulling Lizzie back into their lives? Lizzie has enough problems without being pursued by ghosts, but Lizzie can't help herself. She keeps putting on those glasses. She keeps going back. She keeps haunting the past. Okay, that's very interesting. And this one was copyrighted in 1987. Okay, so very cool. All right. So another young adult book that I found, and I'm very excited about this one because I've never heard of it. I mean, I just found this gem out in the wild that I never knew about, and it was just satisfying to find it. And it's called The Ghosts. And look at that cover. Okay, and the author's name is Antonia Barber. And I'll read the tagline on the front real quick. The tagline reads, "They traveled into time to solve a strange supernatural mystery." And I just want to look at that cover. Okay, the lighting in the room creates the effect of a human skull with sharp teeth, with the contrast of shade and light in the room is very cool. You have a lovely young woman, three boys, and the boys look like they're slipping into time. Look at that. You have that boy right there, and then you have him beginning to fall into a clock, and then you have him nearly sucked into the clock. I mean, that is a really interesting cover. I love the font, I love the colors. Great looking cover. This book is near mint condition as well. Let's go ahead and read the synopsis on back. When Lucy sat in the attic, she thought she heard the sound of voices calling. That's when she started to believe the rumors in the village that the old house was haunted. But no ghosts appeared until the day Lucy and her brother Jamie stood in the garden and watched two pale figures, a girl and a boy, coming toward them. That was the beginning of a strange and dangerous friendship between Lucy and Jamie and two children who had died a century before. The ghost children desperately needed their help, but would Lucy and Jamie have the courage to venture into the past and change the terrible events that had led to murder? Okay, that does sound like really good. That sounds super dope. And I'm going to go ahead and see. Copyright 1969. Okay, but this Archway paperback printing was printed in 1993. Okay, interesting. Interesting. All right, very cool. Now I have two more young adult books, and this one's not horror, but it looked good, so I went ahead and picked it up. The author's name is Geraldine Kay, and the title is Someone Else's Baby. And there's an endorsement on the cover that reads, "Chosen by the ALA as a best book for young adults." Now let's look at the cover. Okay, so you see this, what I presume to be a teenage girl sitting on her bed, and it looks like she's writing in a diary. Okay, so look at that cover one more time. Now let's go ahead and read the synopsis on back. 17-year-old Terry Browning has a problem. She's pregnant and doesn't know who the father is. But the big tough question remains. Will she keep the baby or put it up for adoption? Her strict parents demand that she give up the child or move out. Then another teenage mom says maybe they can both rent a room and raise their babies together. As Terry writes her thoughts down in a series of notebooks, hoping her baby will see them one day, she considers the most important question of her life and comes to realize some very important lessons about responsibility, honesty, and unconditional love. That is incredibly interesting. This book is definitely, I don't think a book like this would be written today. This is from 1992, but this printing is from 1997. Wow. That does sound interesting because society looks at these things differently today. I don't want to get into it, but I guarantee you, if you read this book, you're gonna get a glimpse of what it was like a few decades back. I mean, over 30 years ago. Very interesting. Okay, and then I have one more young adult book, and the author's name is Jean Thesman, and the author is Jean Thesman, and the book is titled Molly Donnelly. And if you look at the cover, there's a lovely young woman walking barefoot in a dress on a sunset beach. I don't know if it could be sunrise, but I think it's sunset. And Publishers Weekly gives it an endorsement on the cover that reads Raw and Bittersweet, possibly Thesman's best to date. All right, let's go ahead and read the synopsis on back. On December 7th, 1941, the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor and the world changed forever. It was the beginning of World War II, and for Molly Donnelly, it was it was the end of childhood. Men went to war, women went to work in factories, and girls Molly's age took on the responsibilities of the household. It was a time of blackouts and food rationing, hardship and heartbreak. But for Molly, it was also a time of great discoveries about first dates, first kisses, falling in love, and about all the wonderful possibilities that lay ahead when the war was over. I mean, it sounds cool. It sounds cool, but it's not really something that I would reach for. But at the same time, when I saw it at the thrift store for, $1.79 or $1.99, however much it was, I couldn't pass it up. So I grabbed it. Oh, I do have a few more books that I forgot about. My bad. All right. So I found this one. It's also young adult, and it's by an author named Joan Aiken, and the book is called Nightfall. And this is a Laurel Leaf mystery. So I guess it's mystery, but it sounds like it could be horror adjacent. And if you look at the cover, you see this old man with a very serious face. You see a lovely young lady. I don't know if she's a girl or a woman, but so I'm just using the term young lady. And she's wearing white, very old fashioned clothes, very old fashioned hairstyle. And she has an adorable white kitty on the cover, too. And then there's a very big either castle or Victorian style home. The young lady's head is obscuring it, but that looks pretty interesting. Now, there is a tagline on the front, and it reads, Will Meg's nightmares solve a murder or cause her own death? And let's go ahead and read the summary on the back. It's the same nightmare, only now it occurs every night. Meg feels herself fall off a cliff and tumble horribly, painfully downward, when a ghastly face sways to and fro in the darkness and she wakes screaming. This has got to stop, 19-year-old Meg Fraser decides. She revisits the tiny seaside village in Cornwall, where, as a little girl, she fell from a cliff and broke her leg. Meg hopes to undo whatever knot that has got knotted up inside her, but she finds herself tangled in the mysterious web of a murder committed 15 years ago. Will Meg's horrible nightmare solve the mystery, or will it destroy her? That sounds pretty dope. I like it. Um, I want to find out what year this was published. It was copyrighted in 1969, but first published in the United States in 1971. This edition was printed in February of 1988. Well, so it's 2 years younger than me, in pretty good condition for a book for a young adult paperback this old. Very cool. And I think I have one or two other books from Joan Aiken. I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that, but I think I do. All right. So then I found this one, and I'm pretty excited about it. I found another Joan Lowry Nixon book, and it's called The Other Side of Dark, and it's got an interesting looking cover. Looks like a woman is on a bed squeezing and kind of crumpling a photo. Let's just go ahead and read the synopsis on the back because there's no tagline on the front. The synopsis on the back reads: Stacy wakes up in a room that's not hers, in a body she can't recognize, to discover she's been in a coma for 4 years. Her mother is dead, murdered, and Stacy, recovering from a gunshot wound, is the only eyewitness. She can recall only a shadowy face so far, but the killer is not about to let her reveal his identity. Interesting. I need to start reading some Joan Lowry Nixon. So this book was copyrighted in 1986. And this edition was printed in May of 1992. Very cool. All right. And then I have one more Joan Lowry Nixon book, and I could swear that I already had it in paperback, but I found it. It's an ex-library copy. I don't know what library it's from. Okay, so it's from a local middle school. It's actually I don't live in the city where I was born. I live several hours away from this small city where I was born. It's from a middle school in that small city, so that's cool to find its way down here. But it's a hardback copy with a dust jacket and a cellophane protector of the dust jacket. This book was discarded. It has never been checked out before. It's in otherwise good condition, except for the former library tells. But other than that, it's pretty cool. And I could swear that I already had this in paperback, but I can't find it. So this was printed in November of 1996. And even though I could have sworn that I bought it and maybe even shared it in a previous book haul over the years, I'll go ahead and read the synopsis on the inside of the jacket, or inside of the dust jacket. So the title is Search for the Shadow Man. 12-year-old Andy Thomas isn't thrilled when his teacher assigns a project to explore family history. The Thomases, as well as the family of Andy's best friend, J.J. Gasper, have always lived in the quiet town of Hermosa, Texas. A genealogy report doesn't seem to have much to offer Andy until he starts asking questions about his ancestors. He is startled to discover that more than 100 years ago, a shameful incident prompted his family to disown one Coley Joe Bonner. Andy can't understand why no one wants to reveal what happened during that terrible period called the Texas Salt Wars. Determined to break the silence, he searches everywhere from the internet to the local cemetery. He questions as many people as he can, although everyone, even his own family, advises him to stop his investigation. Heedless of the consequences for those he cares about, Andy uses old fashioned legwork as well as brain power to uncover the truth about Coley Joe and to help those around him realize it's never too late to seek justice. Yeah, that sounds incredibly familiar. There's also the shape of the state of Texas on the cover. I could swear that I've already owned a copy of this book and that I've shown it off in a or showcased it in a book haul in the past. All right, so I've got four more books for you. Okay, I have this one and it's called The Hallowing, and I really like that font and color. And I don't think that this is a horror book. I think it might just be horror adjacent, but it's cool. The title is The Hallowing. The author is Fran Pokras Yariv. And the tagline on the front reads, "Was it heresy to believe an ordinary woman could become a saint?" And again, here's what the cover looks like. I'll just leave it there for a sec so you can see that. Now, let's go ahead and read the synopsis on the back. No one was ready for what happened to Sharon Jenner, least of all Sharon. It was a night for dying. Nothing human could have survived that flaming car crash. Sharon Jenner did. She couldn't tell them why. She was in terror of the answer, because Sharon Jenner, ideal wife, mother, working woman, could no longer understand anything. Not the tumor that disappeared, not the rock that moved at her wish, not the midnight visitation in her garden. What awesome power had been bestowed on Sharon, and was it a gift or a curse? And that sounds pretty dope. I really like that flaming rose on the cover, and they also have it on the back. And the edges of the pages have yellowed with age. And this book was copyrighted in 1980, and this first Jove edition was published in October of 1980. So this is 6 years older than me. This is a 45-year-old book. Like, very cool. Excellent condition for a book that old. All right. So then I found this Tor dark fantasy book by Mercedes Lackey, and it's called Children of the Night. And it says, and the tagline on the front reads, "Gypsies, vampires, and witchcraft, a deadly combination." And I just love the girl on this cover. She looks like an 80s metal chick with like black leather pants and kind of a southwestern style cowgirl belt with like turquoise on it, and this like creature with sharp talons. So that's kind of why I bought it. But there's also an endorsement of or an endorsement by Marion Zimmer Bradley, who wrote the Avalon series, like Mists of Avalon and Ancestors of Avalon, and then there's also Priestess of Avalon. I've only read Mists of Avalon, but I own Ancestors of Avalon, and the movie Mists of Avalon was awesome. Highly recommend it. So let's go ahead and read the synopsis on back. So it's not horror, it's dark fantasy. Don't go out at night. The vampires are hunting. The gypsy boy had asked for Di's help, called on for her magical assistance, and she could not refuse, especially after he was slain practically on her doorstep. But the vampire Di finds cradling the body isn't the killer. He's the gypsy's protector, Andre Lebrel, who informs Di that there's more than one monster stalking the streets of New York. Now it's up to Diana Tregard, guardian and practicing witch, to find the killers and destroy them, with a little supernatural assistance from a very friendly and very sexy vampire. I'll say, to the latter point, descriptive point, right? And this book was printed in 1990, and so that's cool. That was a cool find. I like it. All right, so I got two more for you. I got this one, and it's the author's name is Wendy Haley, and the title is This Dark Paradise. And I like the cover. You know, there's a cool house. I don't know what style of architecture that is, but there's a really creepy man's face looking right at you through one of the house windows. There's no tagline on the front, so let's go ahead and read the synopsis on the back. Deep in the moss-shrouded woods of the South, deep in the moss-shrouded woods of the South, far from prying eyes, stands a house of many secrets. The arbor home to the proud and passionate Danilov family, a place haunted by ghosts of days gone by and consumed by shadows of things to come. Alexander Danilov has returned after too long a time to his ancestral home, and there he finds his family nearly torn apart by jealousy, by lust, and by greed. But Alex is no stranger to the dark, intimate secrets of men and women, for he has preyed on the passions of mortals for close to 1,000 years. So it sounds like this is a vampire book because there's an endorsement on the back that reads, spellbinding, sinister, seductive, a haunting family saga in the tradition of Anne Rice. So it sounds like, this is going to be a vampire book based on that synopsis and the comparison to Anne Rice. This book was copyrighted in 1994. Okay. So that was an adult book, and now I got one more adult book for you because I typically save those for last. This is a Pinnacle Horror Publishing, and it's called Candle Bay by Tamara Thorne. And the tagline on the front reads, "Come for a visit, stay for eternity." And look at this cover. That is a great cover. If you love vampires as much as I do, and vampire books and vampire movies, I mean, a site like this is going to compel you. Okay, as soon as I saw the cover, I knew I had to have this. Again, a Pinnacle Horror Publishing. I've already read the synopsis on the back, and this is in very good condition. It's just a tad bit lower than, oh gosh, that sunset is gorgeous. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the sunset through my sliding glass window. That is gorgeous. Here, let me show you. Maybe you can see that. Okay, sorry for the ADD, but that was the natural beauty of that sunset was just distracting. Okay. Anyway, let's read the synopsis on the back of this last book. Dark secret. Perched on a fog-shrouded hillside high above an isolated California coastal town, the once opulent inn was neglected for decades. Now restored to its former glory and filled with well-heeled guests, the Candle Bay Hotel and Spa owes its remarkable renaissance to its new owners, the Darlings. Yet the seemingly all-American hosts hide a chilling, age-old family secret. Innocent arrival. Lured to the picturesque spot, assistant concierge Amanda Pierce is memorized by her surroundings and by her seductive new boss, Stephen Darling. But the odd behavior of her employers during the day and suspicious blood splatters in the hotel fill her with an overwhelming sense that something sinister is going on. Blood War. Little does Amanda know that not only are the Darlings vampires, but that a murderous vampire vendetta is about to begin. The Dantes, a vampire clan nearly exterminated by the Darlings a century ago, have come back to seek vengeance and steal a potent elixir, a potion as precious to vampires as blood itself. As the lethal feud unfolds and her feelings for Stephen deepen, Amanda faces the greatest decision of her life: to die or join the forever undead. I think that they should have phrased it join the undead forever, but whatever. Um anyway, that sounds cool. That sounds like a fun read. And this was printed in August of 2001. All right, well, there you go. That was my book haul for today, and I think that this one was actually one of the coolest ones I've had, probably since the Black Friday haul. That one was a lot of fun. I found a lot of cool stuff that time, and this time I'm very satisfied with this haul, which is why I went ahead and did another one. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Horns up and peace out.